Have you ever noticed how much noise surrounds us every single day? The noise of opinions, the noise of comparison, the noise of distractions. Everyone seems to have something to say about who you should be, what you should do, and where you should go, and slowly, without even realizing it, we begin to lose sight of our own path. My dear friends, the biggest mistake we often make is giving too much attention to that noise. The more we listen to what everyone says, the more we drift away from what our heart whispers. You see, success and peace are not found by shouting louder than the world, but by learning to listen to the silence within when you are truly focused on yourself, your growth, your goals, your inner peace. The noise outside becomes irrelevant. It's like being in a crowded marketplace, but having your eyes fixed on the destination ahead. You hear the chatter, you sense the chaos, but you keep walking because you know where you are going. Most people spend their lives reacting to gossip, reacting to criticism, reacting to what others post, think, or say. But the wise focus on responding to their purpose. When you focus on yourself, you stop wasting energy trying to prove your worth to others. You start investing that same energy into becoming better than you were yesterday. Let me tell you something beautiful. A seed doesn't compare itself with the tree next to it. It simply focuses on growing towards the sun. If it starts worrying about how tall the other tree is, it will stop growing altogether. Likewise, your growth will happen naturally when your attention is on your journey, not someone else's success. You don't need to announce your progress. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Just keep working in silence and let your results make the noise. Every minute you spend doubting yourself because of what others say is a minute stolen from your purpose. Don't give that power away. And yes, there will always be distractions, people who misunderstand you, criticize you, or laugh at you. But remember, the airplane doesn't stop flying because of turbulence, it rises above it. The noise below will always exist. You just have to rise higher than it. So be so focused on improving yourself that you don't even notice the noise. When your eyes are fixed on your growth, the world fades into the background. Your peace, your progress, your purpose, these are what truly matter. Don't chase attention, chase alignment. Don't seek approval, seek progress. And don't waste your energy fighting noise that was never meant to guide you. Because the moment you become deeply focused on yourself, your goals, your values, your growth, that's the moment the noise loses its power. And that, my friends, is when you begin to truly live with peace, purpose, and power. When you stay deeply focused on your own growth and purpose, the outside noise loses its power over you. This simple truth has the potential to transform your life completely. Yet, it's something that most people struggle to practice. We live in a world overflowing with opinions, judgments, and comparisons. Everywhere you look, someone is trying to tell you what success should look like, how fast you should be growing, or what kind of person you should be. Social media, society, even the people closest to us, everyone has a version of you that they expect to see. But when you are constantly tuned into the world's noise, you begin to tune out your own voice. And that's when peace, clarity, and purpose start slipping away. You see, focus is a sacred energy. It's the fuel that shapes your destiny. Wherever you direct your focus, your life begins to move in that direction. If your focus is on the opinions of others, you start living your life trying to please them. But if your focus is on your purpose, you begin to grow into the person you were always meant to be. The reason most people never reach their full potential is not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because their focus keeps shifting from what truly matters to what everyone else is doing. Imagine a person trying to climb a mountain. At the base, there are hundreds of voices shouting advice. Go left, that's too steep. You'll never make it. Try this path instead. If that person listens to every voice, they'll never move. But if they fix their eyes on the peak and take one step at a time, no amount of shouting can stop them. The mountain doesn't care about opinions. It only rewards persistence. The same is true in life. You cannot reach the top if you keep turning your head to respond to every critic. The more you focus on yourself, the quieter the world becomes. The truth is, the noise will never completely disappear. There will always be people who misunderstand your journey. There will always be distractions trying to pull you away. But when you are deeply focused on your growth, these things lose their grip. It's not that the noise goes away, it's that you stop hearing it. Just like a musician lost in the rhythm of a song doesn't notice the crowd's chatter, when you are absorbed in your purpose, the world's opinions fade into the background. Think about how easily our focus is stolen today. One negative comment can ruin an entire day. One comparison on social media can destroy your confidence. We see someone else succeeding and suddenly forget how far we've come. This happens because our attention is external on what others are doing, saying, or thinking. The mind starts to wander into their world instead of cultivating our own. But when your focus shifts inward, everything changes. You start competing only with who you were yesterday. You measure progress not by likes, money, or approval, but by how much you've grown in character, discipline, and peace. To stay focused on yourself doesn't mean becoming selfish, it means becoming self-aware. It's not about ignoring people, it's about not allowing them to define your worth. You can listen to feedback without being consumed by it. You can care for others without losing yourself in their expectations. Growth begins when you stop chasing validation and start chasing purpose. When your focus is inward, even your failures become lessons, not reasons to quit. You begin to see challenges as part of your evolution. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That small shift in perspective is the difference between feeling lost and feeling guided. You realize that every obstacle is helping you become the version of yourself who is capable of holding your dreams. The more you focus on yourself, the stronger your inner voice becomes. That voice is your compass. It's calm, clear, and deeply honest. It tells you when something feels right and when something doesn't. But that voice can only be heard in silence. And silence can only exist when the noise fades. If you're constantly surrounded by chatter from the world or your own anxious thoughts, you'll never hear the guidance that's trying to reach you. Meditation, solitude, reflection. These are not luxuries. They are necessities if you want to protect your focus. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to confuse movement with progress. You might be doing 100 things a day, but if none of them align with your purpose, you're just spinning in circles. Focus on yourself means choosing direction over distraction. It means saying no to things that don't serve your growth, even if they look appealing. Sometimes growth requires you to disappoint others for a while, to step back, to isolate, to rebuild. That's not being cold or distant. That's being intentional. Look at the most peaceful and successful people you admire. Monks, thinkers, creators, spiritual teachers. They all have one thing in common: unshakable focus. They have trained their minds not to react to every distraction, not to get entangled in the world's noise. They live with clarity because they know where their energy is going. They don't try to control the outside world. They master their inner one. And when your inner world is stable, the outside world cannot disturb your peace. When you're truly focused on your growth, your energy changes. People can sense it. You begin to glow differently, not because you're perfect, but because you're grounded. You stop seeking validation from the outside because you found it within. You become less reactive and more reflective. Criticism no longer shakes you, it informs you. Comparison no longer triggers you, it inspires you. That's what happens when focus replaces fear. You move from reacting to creating, from surviving to thriving. There's a quote that says, "A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep." It's not arrogance, it's awareness. The lion knows its purpose: to lead, to hunt, to protect. It doesn't waste time proving its strengths. Similarly, when you know who you are and what you're building, you no longer need to prove it. You let your actions speak. You let your consistency become your voice. But remember, staying focused on yourself is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Every morning you will be faced with the choice to be pulled by the noise or to stay rooted in your purpose. Every day you will have to remind yourself why you started. Because distractions don't disappear. They just become less tempting when your vision becomes clearer. There will be moments when you'll feel like you're not moving fast enough, like others are ahead. But remember, everyone's path is different. The flower doesn't envy the tree, and the moon doesn't compete with the sun. They both shine in their own time. The universe has its own timing for you too. Your only job is to stay ready when your moment arrives. The outside world might not understand your silence. People might misinterpret your focus as arrogance or isolation, but that's okay. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to become the best version of yourself. Growth often happens in solitude. The seed breaks underground before it blooms above. The caterpillar hides before it becomes a butterfly. Your focus is the cocoon that transforms you. So guard your attention like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is where your attention goes, your life grows. Don't waste it on noise that doesn't serve you. Instead, invest it in learning, growing, healing, and becoming. Build habits that nourish your peace. Surround yourself with people who respect your focus. Spend more time in reflection than in reaction. When you stay deeply focused on your own growth and purpose, the outside noise truly loses its power. The criticism, the comparison, the chaos, none of it can touch you, because you are operating from within. You are no longer controlled by the world. You are guided by your purpose. And that is the most powerful way to live. Not loudly, but clearly. So keep your eyes on your journey. Keep your heart tuned to your inner voice. Let the world make noise. You stay silent, steady, and sincere. Because one day, the same world that doubted you will be inspired by the calm you built within yourself. That is the beauty of true focus. It doesn't fight the noise. It simply outgrows it. True progress comes not from reacting to others, but from consistently working in silence toward your own goals. This principle may sound simple, yet it carries a depth of wisdom that can reshape your entire way of living. We often measure our success by how others respond to us, by their praise, recognition, or approval. But real progress doesn't need to announce itself. It grows quietly, like roots beneath the surface, unseen, but deeply powerful. We live in an age of noise, constant updates, endless opinions, and a desperate need to be seen. Everyone wants to show what they're doing, to prove how far they've come, to seek validation in the form of likes, followers, or applause. But the truth is, the louder we get, the less we grow. Because when your energy is spent reacting to people's opinions, to competition, to criticism, you lose the very focus required to create something meaningful. Progress happens in silence. Think about how nature works. The seed doesn't scream while it grows. The sun doesn't announce every morning that it has risen. The river doesn't boast about its journey to the ocean. Growth happens naturally, steadily, and without noise. It's the same with your personal growth. The more you stay grounded in your goals and consistent in your effort, the stronger you become, not because the world notices, but because you know you're improving from within. Reaction is easy. Discipline is rare. Most people spend their lives reacting to circumstances. A bad comment, a failure, a setback, and forget that the power to grow lies not in reacting, but in responding with intention. When you react, you lose control. When you respond, you reclaim it. Silence doesn't mean doing nothing, it means doing everything with quiet confidence. It means trusting your process, even when nobody is clapping for you. You see, success is not built in the spotlight. It's built in the unseen hours, the early mornings, the late nights, the moments when no one's watching. The real transformation happens in silence, when you're reading instead of scrolling, practicing instead of posting, reflecting instead of reacting. That's where character is formed. The world might not see your effort, but life always rewards it in time. When you work in silence, you free yourself from the need for constant validation. You no longer need to prove your worth to others, because your growth itself becomes your proof. You stop chasing approval and start chasing consistency. Every quiet effort compounds over time. Every small act of discipline, every step you take when no one is watching, every time you choose purpose over distraction. That's how greatness is built. Slowly, silently, and steadily. There's a reason why people who talk less often achieve more. Words are easy, action is difficult. But when your focus shifts from proving to improving, your entire life begins to change. You don't waste energy trying to convince others of your potential. You invest it in fulfilling that potential. You stop saying I will become and start becoming. That shift from external validation to internal conviction is where true progress begins. Let me share something powerful. When you react to others, you let them control your energy. If someone criticizes you and you react in anger or self-doubt, you've given them power over your peace. But if you stay calm, keep working and move forward, you remain in control. Silence is not weakness, it's strength under control. It's the confidence that doesn't need to shout. Every time you stay silent instead of reacting, you train your mind to rise above temporary emotions. You teach yourself to stay focused on the goal instead of being distracted by the noise around it. That's what the most successful people do. They don't waste time explaining themselves or defending their dreams. They keep working until the results speak for them. Working in silence also protects your vision. Not everyone will understand your journey. Some people will doubt you, some will envy you, and others will discourage, simply because they can't see what you see. When you share too much too soon, you open the door for opinions that can shake your confidence. Protect your dreams like seeds. Let them grow roots before you show the leaves. Build quietly until your work becomes undeniable. Consistency is the bridge between dreams and reality. But consistency requires patience, the ability to keep showing up even when progress feels invisible. When you are working in silence, it's easy to feel unseen. You might wonder if it's worth it. But remember, every small effort adds up. Just because you can't see immediate results doesn't mean nothing is happening. Growth often hides beneath the surface until one day, everything blooms at once. Most people quit not because they lack talent, but because they get discouraged too soon. They expect instant results. But true progress takes time. It's built one disciplined choice at a time. One day of focus, one act of courage, one refusal to give up. When you stop reacting to how slow the journey feels and start trusting the process, success becomes inevitable. Silence allows you to listen to your intuition, your inner guidance, and the lessons life is teaching you. When you're constantly reacting, your mind is too loud to hear wisdom. But when you slow down, reflect, and move deliberately, you start noticing signs, patterns, and directions that were invisible before. That's the beauty of silence. It connects you to clarity. Working in silence doesn't mean hiding forever. It means preparing so deeply that when you do show up, your work speaks louder than words. The world respects results, not promises, and results come only from quiet dedication. When you let your actions speak, people listen differently. They may have doubted you once, but your consistency turns doubt into respect. Think of all the greats, audits, athletes, thinkers, leaders. Their early days were filled with silence, isolation, and hard work. No one saw their struggles, only their success. But those silent years built their foundation. That's why they shine so brightly now. The time you spend in silence is never wasted. It's preparation for your moment of impact. When you work quietly, you also find peace. You are no longer racing others, comparing yourself, or seeking recognition. You simply fall in love with the process. That's when your work becomes meaningful. You start doing it not to impress, but to express. You give your best because that's who you are, not because someone is watching. And ironically, that's what eventually makes people notice you. Authenticity always stands out. Every reaction drains energy, but every silent effort multiplies it. Choose your battles wisely. Not everything deserves your response. Not every opinion needs your defense. Some things are best answered with results. Silence is not about suppressing yourself. It's about mastering yourself. It's about choosing growth over drama, purpose over pride. So the next time you're tempted to react, pause, breathe, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my goal or further away? If it doesn't serve your purpose, let it go. Return to your work, to your focus, to your peace, because the person who keeps working silently while others make noise ends up ahead. And one day when your results speak, when people finally see the outcome of your silent effort, they'll call it luck. But you'll know it wasn't luck. It was persistence. It was patience. It was choosing silence over reaction. Consistency over chaos. True progress doesn't need to shout. It simply shows up strong, steady, undeniable. So keep working in silence. Keep building when no one believes. Keep showing up even when no one claps. Because the quiet path may be lonely, but it leads to the loudest victories.